Hello. Hello. Hi, hello. Oh, things are a mess here. Hold on. Gabe uses my stream setup sometimes and he doesn't put it back where it should be. It's okay. It's okay. How's everybody doing? Welcome. Sorry, there was a song that was playing earlier that was from some random window in my browser, so I had to track it down. Not the usual song, so I had to find that. Cavendish! 3 months? Yeah, dude! Thank you! I appreciate that. How you doing? Jackar? Is it Jackar? Jackar? Jack? Okay, Jack? That okay? Yeah, you're catching a live stream. What's up? And Waco, don't you worry about it. You do what you gotta do. Let's see. How do you prefer to be called? Jackar? Jack? Jack is here. Okay. Jack's okay. Good. Glad to have you. How long have you been waiting to catch a live one? I'm here every Saturday at 2 p.m. Sometimes I don't have my cam on. It's usually when I'm too busy to get all dolled up, but, you know, I'm here nonetheless. Don't worry about it. Nothing really happens in the beginning. I keep trying to make, like, you know, get here early for blah, 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 but it doesn't matter. Maybe I should just make the stream, like, half an hour earlier and just collect people. I don't know. Feel free to tell us about the name. I'm always curious about people's usernames. They come up every month. I actually subscribed as much as I could as a Christmas present. Oh, Cavendish, thank you. I'm sure other people are very thankful as well for that. Don't worry. Within the next month, then they have more emojis, so you'll get your money's worth there. Hopefully. At least more than you're getting now. But okay. How's my vocal to music ratio? We good? Is that alright? It was suggested last time that I do a frog playground this time. Because I've done birds and pillbugs and another bird one? What was the one that was like... Oh, it was fish. Fish. That was a cute one. So now we're doing frogs. And they're tubby little Froggos. It's gonna be kind of a shortish stream. Like, we're, like, for sure this time. We're gonna do this one and then just call it. I have a lot to catch up on. I have to do all my Patreon stuff and like 3 portraits in the next week, so as usual, I've got my work cut out for me. No problem, Glitter. I figured we'd bust open the talking about what we were talking about last night. If you're cool about it, we can totally start talking about that too, because I think it's, I don't know, I think it's important to talk about. Especially with how much is going around with just weird opinions on it. I don't know. I don't know what people are smoking lately, but I don't know. We'll talk about it. Time zone difference. Oh, 10 o'clock at night for you? Okay. Man, I want to make a character then. Jacobos. You know what? That's actually kind of cool, though. That's a good way to go about kind of making up new names and whatnot. It's just from what you remember about a different name. I am currently cleaning out my palette, so if you're wondering what I'm doing off screen. Sound is good. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, cat! How you doing? Fritz's frame foo stories again. Yes! Oh, really, Cavendish? Oh, I gotta go look. Oh, Fritz. Look at him go. Oh. Oh, I like that. That's classy. And right next to another raccoon. Oh. I love it. Thank you. He does such a good job. Little busybody Fritz. Alright. So, like I said, we're going to be watercoloring this little frog playground thing. I got a little bit too engineer-y, I guess, with the making lily pads into water slides. Who cares? That's where we're at. I don't even, whatever, it's happening. And then, some of you may or may not have seen last night, we were talking on Discord about using reference. Now, apparently, just the phrase using reference is almost interpreted different ways nowadays. I had no idea that this was happening, I'll be honest. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We don't usually talk about such pointed things. I mean, we absolutely can if anybody ever wants to. I'm totally up for it, but I don't usually have anything in particular to talk about. I just like to chill, at least for now. Once I get caught up on all my outstanding work, we can start, diving into more specific things to talk about on the streams and more tutorials and stuff. But for now, it's just like, meh, it's a Saturday. Let's all chill together. But, busybody Fritz, yes. Are they related to Pepe? I don't know the background to Pepe the Frog. Pepe, but I always see him in bad spots. So I'm not going to say these frogs are affiliated with him because I actually don't know his background. Same with the gorilla. What was the gorilla's name? It started with like an H or an M or something. I see them as memes in weird spots, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know what we're even talking about. Alright, so, I'm curious first off the bat, without even going into it, when someone says using reference, you tell me in like one sentence what you think that means. Because I want to see right away if people have different ideas of what this means. This is very curious to me. I didn't know there were other interpretations. In regards to art, using reference. Go. And don't worry, I'm not going to rake you over the coals or anything if it's different than what we're going to talk about. But what do you think it is? Like, explain what using reference is to you. Like, the actual definition of using reference. Okay, so saying inspiration or a guide, using reference to do, study picture shapes, supposed colors, lights, help figure out different materials, use them for your own art. Hi, JC. Not the same as copying. Right. So that's the other thing. Some folks think, reference is copying. Some think it's not. Now, it depends on where you're also at in your art career. It can mean different things. So I don't really look up reference anymore for my more weird stuff like this. Like this, I was just like, I'm going to draw some orbs with legs and call them frogs. I don't need to look at a frog for that, or any of these other parts. When it comes to fantasy, and I've been doing it for a while, you can kind of just wing it, right? But for, things you're not familiar with drawing that you haven't drawn before, like if I was going to draw a car, I would definitely look up pictures of cars. And if it had to be a specific car, like if I was drawing a Chevy something or other, I'd have to look up, pictures of Chevys, right? So looking something up like that and using it as a reference you could end up copying it, right? Like using a still life arrangement. Remember in high school when you'd have to draw like gourds and things that were arranged in a way, or flowers? That's using reference too. Using reference means just looking at something as like, a guide or like a reference point. It's hard to describe reference without using the word reference. But looking at something and using your hand to interpret it, right? You're looking at something, it's going in through your eyes, filtered through your brain, and out again through your hand, right? So there was this whole thing, apparently, about people saying they were using reference when they were just taking screen caps or something from movies and then putting their characters on top of them. And they were saying that was using reference. That's not using reference. That's photo bashing. That's something completely different. So I'm only talking about this because, we talked about in Discord, but there was also something else we talked about recently that's been, and not angering me, but irritating me online when people say a speed paint versus a time lapse. Time lapses are when you've painted something at a normal rate and you speed it up to show people, the whole time you used to paint it in a small amount of time. That's a time lapse. A speed paint is when you go really fast in real time to get something done quicker, like a speed run in a game. When you do a speed run in a game, you're going in real time the fastest you can through a level or for a goal, and that's a speed run, right? So a speed paint is similar. Like if I was doing this in a speed paint, I would literally take maybe 10 minutes and then finish this, right? In real time. But a time lapse, if I want to take like an hour on this or whatever, I take that hour, that footage, and then speed it up to show you the whole amount of time quickly. It's elapsed, So people are calling time lapses speed paints nowadays, and it's bad, and it's everywhere. They've just totally done the same thing they're doing with using reference, apparently. So if you see somebody that's saying they used reference for a piece, but they just kind of lifted it, we used to say lifted, and they just input it in their piece, that's not the same thing. If they're doing that as like an exercise, we used to do that as an exercise in college. Our teachers would actually tell us to take a screen grab from something and then input a character or whatever to match them with the background, the lighting. It's a really good exercise. But you should never claim the background as your own, or, whatever isn't yours in that piece. Don't claim it as your own, because for one thing, you're going to get caught. And for another thing, it's tacky. People are going to know. There are obscure references, sure, but there's always somebody who knows. So I just wanted to touch base about that and make sure, y'all are on the same page with what using reference actually means. And there's also stigma. I don't know how this happened or when, but there started to be stigma about artists using reference, and that, you shouldn't use reference or whatever. Yeah, you should. You should always use a reference if you're unsure of something, unless you're like an abstract painter or, something else. If you're going for something looking like something, you want it to use a reference, that's just ridiculous otherwise. So there's no stigma with using reference. There's nothing bad about it. It gets bad when you start depending on it or being paralyzed when you do art without it. You don't want to get to that point. That's where it gets a little bit, I don't want to say sad, but it gets to a point where if you can't do art without seeing something, you're too dependent on reference. So like if I tell you, hey, draw a mop, and you're like, I can't without reference. No, because there's something called a visual library, where if you draw things and you see things and you draw them, they should be, little remnants kept inside your brain so that you can call them out later. So that when you're doodling or you're sketching or whatever, you have to work your imagination by using the things you remember and retain, as opposed to just being like, I can't do anything unless I'm looking at something. You need to be able to balance the two. It's a good I'd say necessary. I don't even think it's just good. It's necessary to have that balance. It's like traditional art and digital art. It's good to have a balance, because you're going to need one for the other at some point, Here, I'll check back in the chat real quick. Copying is a great way to learn, as long as you cite your sources if you post it online. That's another thing. You can get in trouble if you're, looking at someone's art and doing a study of their art and you don't mention them. I had just caught somebody, this was 2 months ago, who was taking my work. It was my Fey Reaper series, so I guess it was like 3. It was in October. They started redrawing all my Fey Reapers and not crediting me. And they were getting a lot of, comments on their stuff. And I messaged them, and they were in Brazil, so I did my best. But I was like, hey, could you please either credit me that you used me as, a reference point for this, like a study, or take it down, because people are thinking you're doing these. You understand that, right? That's not okay. And I had to kind of beat that into them over a few different messages because they kept doing it. And I think it might have been a kid, but I don't know. And they were offering commissions, which gets really weird, because it's like, why are you copying other people's art? Because the rest of their account was that too. But then offering commissions, like, what do your commissions look like? Do they just go look at someone else's art for the commission and then change it a bit? I have no idea how that works. So if you're going to use an artist as a study, personally, if it were me, I wouldn't post those. Those would be just studies I do on my own, take a little bit from this artist, take a little bit from that artist, and your style then becomes a melting pot of all these studies you've done over time, right? And that's what you want, because that's how you get something new, right? You make this amalgam of other things. If you're pulling too much from one or two sources, it's going to be really obvious. And I think that happens a ton in the comic industry. You'll see comic artists where you can basically pinpoint their inspirations, or, which 2-3 people they're putting together. Your style erupts from you by all the things you've taken from other stuff that you enjoy. I can explain that more in a minute. Hi, Shaladron. Oh, tell Kristen I say hi too. I miss you guys. How are you? And there were some artists that weren't good, mind you, but they started brag about not using references. I don't know who these people were. Newer artists saw this brag and thought it was a valid brag, and then sort of snowballed. Oh, God. Yeah, and I mean, if you want to get feedback on the things you've done, do it with a small group of people, a Discord that you've been in, or, some art friends, preferably people you trust that it's not online, because I swear to you, you'll at some point get seen by something in social media, and it'll just blow up in your face, and someone will just light you on fire, and you meant nothing by it. It is the worst part of social media, that you can just be raked over coals and you didn't even know what happened. It happened to me once, and it was something I had tweeted, and I had not said what they thought I had said, and they took it out of context, took a screenshot of it, put it in a tweet of their own, interpreted it in their way, blasted me, and then all these people just went off on me, and I wasn't able to defend myself. There's no way to pull myself out of it and say, hey, you don't understand what I meant by this, and I probably should have worded it different, but Twitter, you're doing quick thoughts out and whatever. Just know ahead of time, anything you put out there could just be flamed against you, right? So if you're doing exercises and things like that, I would keep those on the DL. You don't need to post everything you do, especially when it's, learning stuff. If you want to have a record of it, either have a Google Doc, have a private Instagram, have anything that isn't totally public facing, and that's okay. Keep some things to yourself. It's important to keep some things to yourself. Then you don't get in the mindset of, oh, I have to post all the time, that sort of thing. It's good to keep that to yourself, because then you're gonna remember that art is for you, and it should always be for you. But then sometimes you'll show some other people, oh hey, here's art, but make sure you're being smart about it, because things like that can absolutely come back and bite you. You guys are doing okay? How are we? We're okay. Money this month is really tight, so we're trying to skate by with that and take on some more work where we can. That's been tough. January is always really hard for freelance, because everybody's figuring out their budgets and stuff, companies, just people in general. So work is kind of dry, and it's kind of the point where savings are getting tight too. So I always try to plan for January being tight, but it always ends up being tighter than I even plan for. So we're okay. We're just taking on any jobs we can get, honestly. But hopefully February and March will be better. We're hoping. What percentage of a reference can be before it becomes copying? So that's a really good point, Glitter. And this question I remember being even back in high school. There's actually copyright law that has an actual percentage. Hi, JB. And I think they said 80% of it has to be new or something like that. I forget the actual percentage, but there is one. And it is in copyright code, because that's how they figure out if somebody's, actually ripping off an IP or not. And then you eventually get into the whole fan art thing, and fan art is just, it's a whole thing. So it's funny how one thing leads into the other with this stuff. But yeah, I mean, it depends on how much you're taking from it. When you're saying how much is copying, are you saying from a movie, you're looking at a movie or a show, or are you saying from real life? Because people take from real life all the time. You're supposed to take, the best way to do reference is to take from actual life, and to do studies that way, than from photos or videos or books or anything like that. Taking that when you can, that's a much better way of training your brain than just from stills from the internet and things like that. That's why in-person drawing classes are so important. Okay, Sketch. So, that's been, that's been a thing for a really long time. And even if there are things, and this is the frustrating thing, why for so long I was so angry about people selling fan art, is because they'd be like, oh, it's a gray area. And it's no, it's fucking not. You cannot sell other people's IPs as your own and get money off it. That's illegal, straight up. But no matter what on the internet, even if you cite sources and all this stuff, people just won't like what you have to say, and they'll just disagree with you. So if you get in fights on the internet about, references and copying and all that stuff, it's just, a lot of the time you're going to lose even if you're right. And it's so maddening. It's where the internet is its worst. This even goes to, it stretches into the anti-vax stuff and anti-science stuff. It's not just art, it's everywhere. So honestly, just, you gotta protect your mind from things like that. It drives you nuts to put everything online these days, so studies become pieces. Exactly, Rillo. Exactly. Though there are benefits to, instead of just drawing a bunch of arms, because that's not going to help you in the long run, to do full body pieces, because then you see how the arm fits into, an actual body. That's more important than just doing eyes or doing noses or doing things. You could do a little study of like, oh, okay, a nose has this, it breaks down like this. Okay. Once you figure out the best way you study to learn, then you don't do studies. Like if I were going to do a nose I haven't drawn before, I would look up maybe 5 different people's noses at that angle, do a quick 5-minute sketch of each one and be like, okay, so they all have this in common. I can take that and apply it to this thing. And then from then on, I'm okay. I feel like drawing that. Like you figure out how you learn best and how you retain information that you seek out and absorb. And once you've done that, it becomes easier and you see the difference between a study versus a piece. I think that's important. Just never hinge too much on a reference. Yeah, see, internet, fake rules. It drives me nuts. It's like, where are you getting this? A collection of studies being sold together as a book. Is that okay? What is it marketed as? Is it marketed as, here are my studies, or here's an art book? I guess I need more information than that. I mean, if it's somebody who was doing a series of flower paintings and those were their studies, but they're all flower paintings, that counts. That's a series then. You have to kind of turn your studies into something, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, you don't, but I don't know if I'd put them online if they're not, finished. Why? Because this is what I'm talking about. If you put something out that you had copied from someone else and someone sees that, they could just destroy you. So I'm just saying be careful of that. Yeah, there you go, Kat, by handwriting. So what kind of references, though? Are we talking photos or other people's art? Because I don't think I would sell a studies book, an art book that has a bunch of studies of other artists' stuff. If it's I guess, studies of photos and things, I would also talk to the photographer, if possible. I wouldn't put photos in a book that I didn't have the rights to do that with. You can't do that. I mean, why would you want to put together a book to sell of studies anyway? Wouldn't you want to make it an original art book that's your characters or your scenes and things like that? You wouldn't want to. I don't know. I guess I don't get the point. Oh, faces. So if it were faces, what I would do is I'd go take pictures of family and friends and people, or ask people on the internet, hey, do you want to submit your face to me to draw? If so, I'm going to have to give you I don't know, give them a basic model release form or something. I'm no lawyer, so I can't tell you this. I can just tell you what seems like a gray area to me. But you need permission to put things in books, even if they're self-published. It's if it's for profit, it's for consumer stuff and not just for personal use, you make a book for your own use and that's it, you don't make other ones, then you need permission from people or else they can sue you. Even if you took a picture of your friend like casually, and you just put it in a book and you start selling those books, like if they didn't like that, they could sue you because you didn't have their permission. At least from what I understand. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but it's that sort of thing. So maybe look at it like, instead of asking yourself, since I'm drawing them, think if it was taking a picture of them, because it's almost the same thing, you know? And if it's not okay to take a picture of it and put it in a book, maybe it's not okay to draw it and put it in a book. Unless it is like Picasso looking and you can't even tell what it's from. But like I said, I am no lawyer. I'm just telling you what I know from what I've seen and heard around the watercolor sort of situation. I mean, the only way you're ever safe doing anything is to just do your own art. Like the way you're gonna do it, without hinging too much on looking at other people's stuff, especially. Like I did have a friend who they only made art off of looking at this one other artist's work. And it's like, that's gonna be really bad in the long run. I mean, for tons of reasons. Like if that artist stopped making art, then you're screwed. If, you do too much of something similar to them, you're gonna get caught. Like, just do your own stuff. If somebody asked you for a commission and you were doing that stuff, you wouldn't be able to do it because you don't know how, unless you looked at somebody else's work. You can't depend too much on someone else's stuff, Exactly, glitter. Yeah, the internet doesn't surprise you. And this is why it's like I'll only put out a little of my stuff and then I'll just kind of recoil. I've really, in the past year, I've pulled back my internet presence and just being there a lot more. I don't try to go get stuff really anymore. I'm also trying to look at other ways to get money as an artist without hinging it on the internet, because it's growing into a very scary misinformation everywhere sort of place. And, you can't even trust social media anymore to get your stuff out there. That's the other thing. Like, social media is so catered that, you have to pay to get in front of people's eyes, and it's hard. A lot of things aren't even organic anymore. No, absolutely, Kat. No. So I'm absolutely fine with people sharing my work and even redrawing it if they want, as long as they cite sources and give credit. That's all I want. But this is on an artist-to-artist basis. Like, I'm also okay with people taking my art to tattoo. If they want to tattoo my work, cool. I see that as a compliment. I just want them to credit me. That's all. I just want credit. But there are artists that don't want people to even repost their work, even if they do credit them. So it's always good to just ask the artist or just kind of know where they stand. Because there are some people that, don't want certain things and all that. But I do really like people to share, like, the stuff they buy from me or they get from me, because that does help me get more customers. And that's really hard to do organically, like I was saying. Usually to get that kind of engagement, you got to pay for it nowadays. So if anybody wants to share something they've gotten from me online, yeah, go for it. Typically that'll help me out. But just make sure to, obviously say where you got it. Because if you share something that I've done or you've bought from me and you don't say where you got it, then that kind of screws me, I mean, think if you were in my shoes. So I try to do the same for people as well. If I know they've got a little business and I've bought from them, that sort of thing. Because why wouldn't you? I don't understand people that post things without being like, hey, from this person. Because you're just going to get people anyway who are like, hey, that's cool. Who did that? So you're going to end up saying it anyway. Might as well save yourself some trouble and just cite it anywho. Well, I would want to redo it, Kat, so it's more of a tattoo style. But, yeah, it would make, like, it'd be a cute little illustration for sure, the idea of it. It's true, Glitter. And you know, what's coming in the future is, like, people policing things, right? Like NFTs. Like, the problem with NFTs is that they're so new, people can't properly police them. And I'm going to say police them because I have lack of a better word. But there's no way to, right now, see which things are stolen and which things are organic and real and authentic, even though the platform itself boasts that it's about authenticity and that you have the only one of this thing. And it's like, no, you can't say that right now because there's no way to actually enforce that, you know? It's crazy right now. That's why I've just kind of pulled back. It's too much. I'll admit it is too much for me. I can't live on the internet the same way I used to when I was growing up. It's a completely different place now. Exactly, Cavendish, yeah. Like, it's scary. Like, people can just go on ArtStation and download a high-res piece of art and then just post it as an NFT and no one's gonna stop them. There's no way to do that yet. And you know, as somebody who uses the internet to earn their living, for me that's extremely scary, but I can't do anything about it. I can't stop posting my work, you know, because I need to keep posting my work to live. So it's one of those things, like, you're scared and, like, you're getting shot all around you, but you have to keep walking out in this field, you know? That's what it feels like. Like, you're in a war, everybody's getting shot around you, and you have to keep walking. You can't go and hide. You can't, you know, stop. So it's really kind of freaky. And you just hope you don't get shot. I don't know. Heavy talks today on the stream. Regulation. That's a much better word than policing. Thank you. Yeah, and honestly, I do feel like NFTs are the fantastic way to sell digital art if you are a digital artist. Like, if, you know, there's gonna always be people who want physical things and always be people who want digital things. And I think NFTs are a great answer for digital artists, but I think right now the way it's being, you know, people are going about it is just, it's too early. Like, nothing should have been made yet until they figured out how to authenticate that, hey, yeah, this is the artist, this is the piece, this isn't stolen, you know, that sort of thing. I think if they keep working at it, eventually it could be cool, especially if they figure out the whole problem with the environmental impact. That's the other thing people are mad about, the environmental side of NFTs. And, you know, that whole thing. Because it's really bad for the environment, too. So they have to work their way around that. I don't think they're going away. They've been around since, like, 2018. We had a friend who was heavily into them. And, you know, we were like, well, they're not for us yet. But we knew he was deep into it. And, so he's making bank now with those, but it's, I don't know, man, it's still not okay yet, in my opinion. Well, that's weird too. So there are different, it's like, think about NFTs like the new high art gallery. There's going to be some art that's just gross and terrible. And then there's really beautiful art or things that are like animated that exist out there that, yeah, that's worthy, that sort of thing. But it's all taste, you know, it's anything like that. It's art is subjective. It's beautiful and terrible for that reason. That, you know, it can be great and bad and loved and hated all at once. That's art, you know? Yeah, like there are good sides to it. It's just, it's not there yet. Oh, yeah. I saw somebody had put up a tarot deck recently that they had just taken all public domain art and just put a different border around it, and they had a Kickstarter for it, and it made like $10,000. And they did maybe an hour's worth of work on it. It's all public domain art. Like, what are you doing? And people fell for it just because typical people who aren't in the art sphere, just casual people who are dabble in art and maybe don't look too far into it, they'll see, you know, art and they'll be like, oh, that's pretty, I want it. And that's what majority of the ads are on Facebook and things that show you a shirt or anything like that that's like limited time. It's limited time or a limited run because they can only do a couple without getting caught. So it gets really dicey. So when you see things that are sponsored to you on Facebook that are like, you know, mushroom printed shirts and hoodies and things, don't just go to that site, because a lot of the time they'll do a run of maybe 50 or 100 of these things and it's stolen art, and then they'll just go steal some more art, put it on clothes, and do a limited run. A lot of the time the most sponsored posts are the ones that are the stolen things. It gets to be really fucked up. Like, that's why I just step away from the internet now. It's like, that's the sort of dishonest crap that you can't fight. You know? You can't do anything about it. You literally cannot do anything about it. Society for Fat Mermaids? Cute. What is that? Yeah, you'd be surprised how many projects on Kickstarter are just stolen art. And honestly, if somebody can talk like game super well and just be able to sell things by writing something that sounds really good, that's all they need to do. Show a piece of stolen art and be like, yeah, man, so I did this, blah, blah, blah. I put it on some hoodies because I thought it'd be chill, and here you go. And people be like, oh my god, I need it. Like, just go down any bunch of comments and you'll see people just going, I need it, oh my god. They'll tag their sister, oh my god, we need this is so you. And that's just how it snowballs. And then, you know, that's it. But then you get the artist, the one comment in the thread that's like, hey, this is mine, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't, you know, print my work. Buried. Welcome to the internet. We don't care. It's so terrible. I laugh at it because I don't know what else to do. It's a group of heavyset people who like to put on fishtails and go swimming and be all body positive. Cute! Plus size clothing for women. Oh, that's good. Plus size clothing is hard to find that fits good. Fits well, I should say. Oh, you guys. I try not to bum myself out talking about internet crap, but really it's so hard. I bounce back and forth too. I'll go through phases where I'm like, maybe the internet's fine now, and you post things and it's like, no, it still sucks. And it's, what can you do? What can you do? There's no way to really fight it. Unless you have reach. You know, if you have reach and you can actually make a difference by telling people, hey, this art is stolen, go attack this account. You know, that's the only real I think, good thing about getting authentic followers and a following is that you can use it for good. You can use the internet to fight the internet, but you have to be big enough to do it. And it can be rough. So if ever I got to that point, I would absolutely be using it for that. That's all I would probably be using it for. Because otherwise, there's just, if no one's fighting that fight, then everyone's going to lose. Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's a reflection of the people. Well said. And the worst do get the most attention. Yeah, and it's, I know people too who have tons of followers and they're not good people, man. And it doesn't matter because people see their art even, and even if they're a good artist and they're a shitty person, doesn't matter. It's the weirdest thing. It's like celebrity stuff. You know, Hollywood celebrities and things, same concept. Everyone's a megalomaniac, but no one really shows it. You know, unless they're caught out in the open being rude to someone or something. Putting positivity, but also having a critical eye about things. And, you know, voting with your money is still very much a thing. Make sure what you're buying is authentic. Like, just because somebody has a website doesn't mean they're legitimate. My art is currently being stolen and put on this one site that it doesn't even care if it's a high-res file or not. They're pretending to be a clothing company, and they even have, like, their website looks legit, and at the bottom it's got all the social links, but if you click any of them, it just redirects you back into the site. So it's not even legitimate, you know, but regular people wouldn't really click those things. You know, people just going in through and clicking ads and going and buying a shirt. They're just going straight for the shirt. So you click a sponsored ad in Facebook, and it takes you to an external link, and you just go buy the thing through the cart and all that. You don't even go through the website, really, you know, to check and see, but you gotta start checking and seeing things. It is a wild frontier, and people will even fight for the bad people, you know? I shouldn't say bad people, because it's one of those things where everybody looks good to who they're following, you know? All those, the documentaries about, like, how Facebook and just social media in general cater posts to certain personality types. Like The Social Dilemma that was on Netflix, that went into it a good deal about how it made things more divisive between the left and the right politically due to showing more of one side to another. I also followed this woman on TikTok who was talking about, like, that she had started this random account, just, like, you know, by herself, a brand new TikTok account with no anything, and she was able to sway the account through her likes and what she watched, because TikTok knows how long you'll stay watching something. So then it starts knowing what interests you and what you look at more, and it'll show you more of one thing. So she was able to, like, sway this thing just by looking at certain things, and it took her down this rabbit hole, and it was crazy. It's scary though. That's the thing. It's really scary stuff. I think I want to do the background dark. And here I am drawing cute little frogs and talking about the terrors of the internet. Hey, we'll do it dark so it stands out. But yeah, in terms of the whole reference thing, glitter, was that kind of what you were talking about then? Did we cover it? I don't even know at this point. We went on like 5 different tangents. Conscious decisions. Yeah, I would like to think so. Yeah, Kat, that's exactly what you have to do. And that's what, I felt really good about with Twitch is that, these people found me in my little corner of the internet. We have shared, interests, likes, things like that. But we also have, important conversations. We talk about important things. And, I feel like it's good here. And I'm guessing everybody on the internet is just finding their safe place. Regardless of what side they're on. That's kind of the idea. But really, the internet is just an endless, aimless argument, and sometimes it can be too much. And if you're ever overwhelmed by it, don't feel bad taking, time off from it. We have to sometimes look at it for what it is. It's still just a tool that we can use, Sometimes I think we forget that and we get too absorbed with that it's part of life and what life is, but just remember it's ultimately it's a tool we can use for information, for other things. Because I had a conversation with Gabe a while ago, and I was like, do you think there really is life outside the internet anymore? And he's like, yeah, people, exist outside the internet and they have their lives and they go to work, come home and all that. And I was like, yeah, but if we unplugged, if people like us who make our livings and things, if we unplug, are we actually off the internet? Like in the sense that, have we left it or are we taking a break from it? Like, can you ever really escape it? Don't you basically end up going back at some point? Like, is internet the life and the vacation is being off the internet and you always just go back to the internet, or is it the reverse? And that sometimes that still throws me for a loop. Like, is life the vacation from the internet, or is the internet a vacation from life? And I think it depends on what you do, like ultimately for your job and all that, but I don't know, man. It's heavy stuff. I think that's how you know when you've gotten too pulled in. So you're probably asking yourself this question. How was my birthday? My birthday was good. I just chilled. I didn't force myself to do anything. I think that was the best thing I did, is I didn't force myself to do anything. Because I find every day I'm kind of forcing myself to do something. And on my birthday, I just didn't. And it was nice. Conscientious. Yeah, it absolutely has glitter. I'm with you. It's hard to correct people without them being like, oh, okay, well, you're a jerk and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can't correct people on the internet. They seem to get angry. They don't receive it. It's like you have to agree with them to start to disagree with them, and that takes time, and nobody wants to take the time to actually have like a forward conversation about things. Everybody wants it quick, done, and they want their side to win. But nobody wants to put in the effort to talk about what's right. It's all about winning. I think if more people met with the idea of, figuring out what's right instead of who wins. It's different. But in the art world, it's going to get weird. It's just always going to get weird. Like, there are some people who think using reference is completely not okay, or you're cheating or something by using reference. And I don't know if those people have gone to any art colleges or anything, and I don't know where they're getting that, but you're always going to have people that are saying crazy stuff. So, honestly, if I had to give any advice regarding kind of avoiding all this and keeping your sanity, just basically what Kat said. Have your own little spot, either alone or with a few people that you trust, or that at least aren't actively trying to yell at you. Like the internet is. The internet's kind of a bit of a verbal abuser if you think about it. But ultimately have a spot that you can just get away from it and just be yourself, be okay, be alone, be with friends, because otherwise it's just too much. Yes, Cavendish, 120 million%. I agree with you. It became too much about ego and the fact that, being wrong, we're losing, oh no, we have to make crap up so we're winning again. It's like, no, we need to talk about that, That's not what's up. I agree with you. I think that's very true. And that, I think, has to do with the fast-pacedness of the internet. No one gives time to figuring things out. It's all just a quip online or a quick, no, you're wrong, and all that. And, only using 140 characters. I really believe that is on purpose. So you can never get your full thought out, Like, even though they used threads now, that's the fact they're using a thread instead of an actual, expand option like Facebook has. The thread is to further along the miscommunication, between people. Because I actually caught myself in one of these arguments with somebody over the summer where I was replying to previous tweets they had done. Well, Anne, thank you for the sub. I swear to the new people here, I'm not usually talking this political or on fire or anything. It's usually a pre-chill stream. But I got in an argument with somebody online, and we were replying to each other's tweets at different parts of the conversation because of this thread, instead of it being one giant chunk, which would be easier, still not ideal, but it would have been easier to actually see both points. But it was impossible to have a legitimate conversation about something where we could have walked away learning. We couldn't. It was impossible. So I almost think it's just this go, go, go mentality, and just see and say what you think real quick and leave. And it's not going to help anything, Exactly, Kat. Yeah, and with the internet, there's no time to do that. That's so good, Cavendish. Yes, that's a perfect question to ask. I mean, I would almost say, is there a bad thing to asking that of both parties? Like, what did you want to get out of this, and what did I want to get out of this? And if neither of you know, then what the hell are you doing, That's a very good question. just to slow down. Like, what are we doing? It's just hard on the internet when you can't even, like, properly ask someone that, you know? Anyway, sorry to rage today, but, I think, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even call it raging. I think it's things that we really need to talk about because they're scary. The internet is getting really scary, and it's not what I grew up with, and that's fine. I understand things change, but where it's going is, like, where are the happy places on the internet? It's not just the animals anymore, the cat pictures or anything like that. Like, where are they? It's like you have to make them. You have to carve out your spot. Because otherwise it's just not going to happen. Yeah, and vulnerable, right, Cavendish? To be vulnerable and be like, what did you want? What did I want? Like, let's try to help instead of trying to hurt to get ahead. That's not the point of it. I guess I see this like a cloudy little day at the pond. I'm not doing very many sunlit colors. You know, Kat, and you're totally right. In my opinion, you're totally right. I used to think the things that I was ignoring, like, I felt that were going to bite me in the ass. Like, being aware was more important than the ignorance is bliss thing. But I feel like there's a balance to where you're not ignorant and blissful. You're just... you're not in denial. There's a weird spot where it's like you could deal with it, but you know what would happen, so you don't. Something about that. I don't know. But yeah, I absolutely agree. It's just, you get to this point where I feel like when you're your own business and you're your own boss, you do worry sometimes that if you do make this little community on the internet, that it's not enough, or it's not big enough or something. Like, you won't be able to keep living off it, you know, because you feel like every other artist is taking all the other people, and you feel like there's this finite number, and there's not, but now there's the panic of not getting seen because the internet's not showing your stuff to people without you paying. So I don't know. Still confusing. There you go, Candice. Yeah. Well said. Well said. It's hard though when you're in the spheres that have that going on, and like you can't escape people, certain people that are in like an art group, things like that. That's when it gets rough. Like if there are people that, you know, are toxic, but they're in kind of a group, that's hard. Hi, Helene. Like, let's say you have someone that gets kind of Instagram famous or something, and you don't want to see their stuff anymore. Like, you can't help it because everybody you know knows them, and you keep seeing their stuff. You know what I mean? Like, there's some things you can't just turn off, and it kind of sucks. How you doing, Helene? How was your dad's birthday? Like, I wish there were more things you could escape when you try it on the internet, but they don't have settings for everything. That's when you just have to walk away. Wordle scores. Yeah, I bet that'll be gone in a week. But people, like, it came up real quick, and I bet it'll kind of fade out real quick. You got it the morning of his birthday? You got corona? COVID? Oh, Helene. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Your throat hurt, but yeah, oh, you poor thing. Poor little thing. Well, I'm sure your dad was still happy with whatever you ended up doing. Oh, God. Wow, Candice. I mean, I get it. If I were in that whole thing, I guess I would have a group that I knew was playing it and then just send the scores to them every day. Sharing it with everybody maybe isn't necessary. But I don't know. At least that one's a lot less harmless. Oh, Megan. It's not done. I decided to give him something I'm making in school. Oh, good, Helene. I'm sure he'll love it. I have no doubt he'll love it. Sheldron, are you still here? You or Kristen? Oh, that sounds like a big brother. Kristen, didn't you say you were starting a store soon? I'm sorry I haven't touched base with you lately. I got really bogged down with some crap. I have like 4 people I need to hit up, but I'm so sorry. I wanted to ask you how it's going. If you don't want to talk about it on stream, I can talk after, but I just wanted to know how it's going. Oh, new plants! They're stupidly cute. Honestly, I really wanted to just draw them dumb, like little plumps. I also didn't want to draw them like everybody's drawing frogs lately. That's another good use for reference, seeing what everybody else is doing and not doing it. Which is kind of what I wanted to do. So knowing what things are in or what have you, there's also a plus to that. Go against it if you want. But I'm drawing frogs now because last weekend I asked for what was it? Opinions? What word am I looking for? Suggestions. Jesus Christ. Suggestions on what other animals would fit this motif I've been doing. I've been doing a little series of all these creatures playing in water, just because I like to draw water. And I had done birds, fish, pillbugs. There's another one I'm forgetting. But then here we've got some frogs. So this is where I'm at with the frogs. Store, I pulled my stuff out of the other one. I might reopen Etsy. Your hands are giving you problems? Oh no! Is it like a carpal tunnel sort of thing? God, it took me way too long to think of that word. Carpal tunnel. Oh, thank you, Glitter. Also, thank you for the conversation. I think it is good to talk about it. Even if we don't get anywhere, at least we're all kind of sharing information about it, and we can each make better decisions off of what we've learned from each other. So that's the only thing with the internet I think that's good with talking about with people, is that you can help people in their own lives with things that you've experienced. And that could be regarding anything. You know, the only time it gets scary is when people are citing facts and they don't have facts, you know? But if you're knowingly sharing your experience with other people and everybody's sharing their experience, then everybody knows it's experience and it's not a fact, and then you can take it or leave it. So... It hurts to hold a needle. Oh no, Kristen. Well, I hope you figure it out. That sounds awful. Especially the fact you can't do what you want to do and what you like to do. Uber! Hi! How have you been? Yeah, and I mean, regarding the reference thing, never be ashamed to use reference. Just don't copy people. That's really the end of it. Don't take credit or anything like that, but, you know, when you gotta use reference to look at something, there is no shame in that. You know, well, I don't know what a Ferrari looks like off the top of my head. Okay, that's the what the internet's for. Go look up a Ferrari and draw it in your own way. Because ideally, I think how you're supposed to use a reference is you look up the thing, and you're like, all right, that is a Ferrari. And you're looking at a Ferrari. And you're like, oh, well, what do I want to include from this Ferrari that would suit the style I'm shooting for, or what I'm trying to do here? Am I drawing a really cute car? Well, do I want to include all these lines on the side? No, because then it won't suit the cute car style, because just in how things are, you don't add a ton of detail to things that are supposed to be cute. You want something to look more cute, take away the detail. That was one of the first things I learned being a caricature artist, was when you want somebody to look younger or cuter, you don't add lines. You want a grandma to look younger, take away a lot of her face lines. Don't put them in, you know? Just take her face shape, her line, the line of her face, and like her eye shape, and make sure you get those right, in her mouth. And you don't even need to add, you know, really wrinkles or anything. So the more detail you give something, the more realistic or scary it's going to look. And that's why a lot of horror stuff has a ton of detail, because it's scary. The more detail there is, the more you're feeling overwhelmed by visual busyness. So just in general, if you're trying to draw something cute, less is more in that area. Hi, Panda Boy. Thank you. I still gotta outline some of it, but we're getting there. You been alright, Uber? I'm glad to hear it. I miss you. I don't get to see Wade very much either. It's nice to know that one isn't the only one. The only whom the internet beats down. I think I get what you mean, Rillo. Hi, Miyazaki. Oh, otters in the water's a good one. Yes, maybe we'll do that one next weekend. Here, I'm gonna write myself a reminder for that. That's good. Thank you, Miyazaki. That is a fantastic suggestion. I love it. Otters. Yeah, I'll try to have that for next weekend. How about that? We'll just slowly pick away at a little series. How about that? I just had started that badger and couldn't get very far. I'm at least using this down. I have to plan my garden beds. Ooh. Yeah, garden beds. Get excited for spring. That'll be fun. Oh, Ari, don't feel bad. I hope you had a good week too. Thank you. I did. It was my birthday week, and it was nice. It was very nice. I've been doing really well with some changes I've implemented in my life, so keeping that up so far. Doing real good. I guess the only bad thing is I'm a little behind on some work for this month, but hopefully I'll be able to catch up on that tonight and tomorrow. That's why I'm only doing this little piece right now, and then we're gonna duck out. Fat mermaids. I could do that, Cavendish, like almost if they were Polly Pocket looking. They just had 2 dotted eyes and they were just little plump mermaids in a little piece. I'm kind of digging it. I think it's a great idea. I might have to actually do that. You've got me really on this cute little plump mermaid kick. I actually forgot my pencil, and it's like my main pencil. So hold on, I'm gonna go grab it. Okay. Oh, thank you, Glitter. Yeah, I'm hoping. It should be okay. For anybody waiting on Patreon rewards, those are gonna go out next week. My Clover cards, which I guess I haven't done a little commercial in a while. So, for anybody new here, I have a Patreon, and I have a few tiers on it that I really enjoy doing. One of which is the Clover Card tier, where you get little paintings the size of trading cards every month, and they have stories on the back. So, if you ever want kind of a little blurb of something every month, this is a good thing. Then there's something that's a little bit more expensive. That's $6. Those were $4 a month. $6 a month is my Curious Collector tier. And that tier has... it's basically a sticker story tier, I call it, where you get a bunch of stickers. And you get a story about that that's a little bit longer than the card one. This is probably about... God, where is it? So usually you get one of these with the Clover Card tier. It's just a card and it's got a story on the back. And then the Curious Collector tier here has a story that's probably about 4 times longer than that and comes with other illustrations, a digital one with animations, an audio version, and stickers here. So that one's $2 more, but you get a lot more with it. So... And for anybody that wants to do both, you can absolutely do both. Just let me know you're doing it, and then you basically join the Curious Collector tier and just tack on the $4 extra for the Clover cards, and then you get both. So that's an easy way to do it. How was your week, Ari? You have a good one? Yeah, thank you everybody for your insight on the references topic. Glitter had brought it up in the Discord, and I thought it was a really good thing to talk about. I mean, if anybody ever has anything they want to talk about, you know, like that, I think it's good. Because if you're thinking of it, honestly, a bunch of other people are probably thinking it too. So might as well talk about it, you know? You're not the only one. You're not alone. That's something that I always liked in like grade school and stuff. I had teachers that were thinking like, well, you know, it's better you ask a question than don't, because more than likely the question you have, a bunch of other people have. So asking it can usually, you know, help alleviate some of the anxiety some other people are feeling. So if you feel like asking it, go for it. Hi, Ash Boy. Feeling a little under the weather today. Hopefully just allergies. I hope so. Yeah, my husband's allergies are pretty bad a lot of the time. We have basically what the hell are they called? Oh, why am I blanking on this? Air filter, air purifier in every room. So, we've got him going all season long, so he always wakes up, though, in the winter and still has issues, even though it's winter. Let's do the white parts real quick. All your allergies? Oh. Yeah, make sure if you've got pets or anything then that you've got one of those air purifiers, because they do help a lot. Okay, let's get this going. One of my favorite parts, hopefully one of your favorite parts. Come on. This one's almost out. Lord. Oh, Gabe had told me about an interesting Instagram thing they're doing now, or soon, which might help alleviate the issues I had with it earlier last year. He was saying that they were implementing something that was like subscriptions on Instagram, so that like you technically start getting paid for posting on Instagram, which was initially a problem I had with Instagram, because it was one of the only platforms where you had to pay to get your stuff seen, as opposed to them paying you for content, like some other things like Twitch. You can get paid on Twitch, things like that. So it was kind of the odd one out that you couldn't get paid for your content on Instagram, but now they're implementing that, which is almost like a Patreon-esque situation. And I'm guessing it's because they have to compete with things like OnlyFans and all the other things out there that have those kind of posting subscription options. So I guess that could be a move in the right direction, at least for creatives. Hopefully. Cat's mouse pad? Cute. Because, yeah, it seemed weird that, you bust your ass to post something on Instagram and you post it and then it's gone, So a lot of my content usually gets put on Patreon for my patrons, because they're paying for it. So that's important. So I put some things on Instagram, but, it makes it a lot harder to bring people from Instagram over to Patreon. Or anywhere, really. May Fox, how are you? Thank you for the sub. 42 months. Damn. You've been on for a long time. And hopefully I'll be able to get the new emojis up in the next week or so. I'm hoping, if I get the right amount of time. Next weekend we'll either do another one of these or I'll work on the emojis on stream. Haven't figured out yet. Depends on how the next week goes with my workload, really. You made it to a stream. You're here. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Kristen, I'm so sad about your hand. I hope you get things fixed with that. Really, I do. Keep me in the loop with what happens. And I hope it's something that's an easy fix. Finally feeling better. Uh-oh, Mayfox, what happened? Did you get the Omicron? Long COVID? Oh man. Oh no, I didn't know that, Kristen. What's sticking around? Oh, Ari, yeah. So, I mean, let's see. I haven't, so you said the emojis. So, I used to be in the game industry, so it's funny how much I don't, I guess, mention that. But, so I've got that background, so the emojis and iconography and all that, I can definitely try to show more regarding that. The main thing when doing emojis, though, or anything that has, the ability to be on a phone, is you want to make sure it looks good at, say, 512, and then looks good at like 28 by 28. Really, really small. So when you're doing emojis or anything like that that has a big version and a small version, you're not just going to want to take the big version and scale it down. You're going to want to take the big version, scale it down, and then make modifications so it's clear, and then scale it down and make modifications so it's clear. It's not always going to reduce to be as clear or nice as you want it to be. So you're always going to have to go in there and kind of sharpen areas up. And in Photoshop, there's a thing, if you go up to Window and you say New Window for document whatever, there's an option that says New Window and then some stuff after that, and it's underneath the window thing. If you do that, then it's a duplicate window of the window you're working in, and you shrink that down. Now, it's not a perfect reference for what it's going to look like in the game or the phone or anything like that, but while you're working on the big version, you have this little one up in the corner where you can see what each of your strokes and everything looks like at a small level. So that can help you make some decisions regarding the art initially while you're making it. And yeah, if you all are interested in seeing how that's done, I can do them on stream next. I'm absolutely okay with that. I'll at least do a quick tutorial using whatever art I've got on hand at the time, and I'll show you how to do that. More than happy. Tickets? Oh, stickers. Of these guys? I guess I could. Little frog stickers. Actually, that's a pretty good spring sticker idea, Mayfox. I like it. I should do that. Let's write myself another note. Plompy frog stickers. And if anybody here ever gets some fun ideas they think, would be fun for my work, please tell me. I'm always open to suggestions. I've got things I'm working on, but, I can always take a minute or two to do these other things. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's funny because so many people are using other digital programs as well now, so it's not just Adobe. Like, I use Adobe for a lot of my more intensive projects, like if I'm doing a lot of graphical work or a lot of things with text, because I find that the things I use text for, like Adobe's still the leader with that. Like Procreate and Clip Studio can't really compete with all the options Adobe has regarding text and text modification and like layer effects and things. So Adobe's still good for that sort of thing. And if you're somebody who doesn't want to pay the $10 a month for Adobe, just save up all the projects you have to do and you have to use for it and get to the point using all the other free programs and stuff that I can go this far and then the rest of this I have to do on Adobe. Get a bunch of those together, pay for a $10, for 1 month of Adobe, and then do them all in there. And then cut your subscription. You can do that if you don't want to do the whole thing. I do that sometimes with After Effects, since After Effects is $20 a month. And I love After Effects so much. It's my favorite video editing software. Like, once I get to the point of making YouTube videos normally, I'm going to be paying for that a month. But right now, it's way out of my ability to pay for it. So what I do is I'll kind of keep things, to a point. And then once I'm like, okay, I've got enough of these, I can put them kind of together. I'll pay the $20, get that, do it, and then duck out. Sometimes it's all you can do when you can't afford too much. But you still got to get some stuff done. It sucks, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, I miss buying programs flat out. That's why I like Clip Studio. At least for desktop, you can just do a flat money rate thing. And you can just buy it right out. The iPad version is like $7 a month. But I use Clip Studio pretty religiously. So I do both. I love Clip Studio. I think it's great. For what I need it for, it's great. Not everybody needs it. It depends on what you're kind of going for, what kind of stuff you need to do. If you're doing a lot of line art or making like coloring books, or I like drawing things for my Patreon on the couch and being able to use the program there and then go to my computer and use it there too. It's really nice for that. But that line stabilizer is like the leader in the game, like for real. No other line stabilizers even come close. Like Procreate's and Adobe's is not near as good. So, I bought Clip Studio originally just for the line stabilizer. I love it. It's so good. But if you don't need a lot of line art stuff, if you're just painting, Procreate's really good for just painting. And that's pretty cheap. You don't need to get bells and whistles for that either. I do when I can, Uber. I don't get much time to do it, but I try. Lately I've been trying to do more TikTok stuff because it's easier and quicker for me to put out because I don't have the time right now to do YouTube stuff. But I plan on it eventually. Thank you, Ari. As long as you have the ability to do that and you're not on like a posting schedule, because that can get kind of rough when you've got a ton of things you want to post about, but you can't because, you haven't paid for your monthly thing. Like, yeah, that could be annoying. But like I said, it depends on everyone's situation, I suppose. But the option's there. And sometimes you can even actually, there's kind of a well-known Adobe hack. If you, say you're gonna cancel your sub, usually they offer you a month free when you're trying to cancel. So they're like, hey, if you don't cancel right now, we'll give you an extra month free. And you can be like, oh, okay. I'll stick around for a little bit. And then you get a free month, and then you can just do it again the next month. Because they'd rather you stay on and forget you're on. So just try to beat the system by always making sure you've got like a reminder on before the month's up again to go in and do it. You should be okay. But yeah, I'm not one of those people who can sign up for subs and then forget they're on. Like, we have payments we need to keep track of, so I've got reminders on for a lot of things that renew, just in case we can't renew them. That sort of deal. Kind of excited. We have some of you are going to think I'm crazy for this, but we have like a winter watch tonight. Might get a snowstorm. I get excited for that. I don't like them during the day as much just because I worry about people who are traveling, but when it's at night, it's exciting, I think. I don't know. I'm from Minnesota, so I get excited about that stuff. I like snow still. Does anybody have any fun things coming up in the next week? January is always weird because it gets to be in the 20s, and I'm like, oh, the month's almost over, but then it's like you have another week at least. I don't know why that always throws me for a loop, but it does. Is this as clear as it could be? Oh no, really? Days, wow. Well, I hope it wasn't too cold. Oh, speaking of that, those of you who were here last week, remember I was talking about our furnace being finicky? Yeah, in negative temperatures it went out at night completely. So the next day we had to call the heating people, and it turned out like our fan control, it's like a little motherboard inside the furnace, like a, I don't know, is like a chip in there, and it was completely fried. Like it didn't know how to regulate the thermostat temp, so that sucked because it just would stop turning on. And it's like, well, it's negative 15 out. Can we get some heat? So we had to call somebody about that, but that sucks. I feel you on that, Kristen. It's scary when it goes out. January's like, psych! Yeah, January. You tricky month. Always so tricky. February's always weird to me too, because February feels like it's getting close to spring, and you're like, oh yeah, March is spring, right? And then you get to March and it's still snowing in March, and you're like, wait a minute. And then you always catch yourself saying, oh, but last year it was warm around this time, when it really wasn't, and you're honestly lying to yourself, and you know it. Like spring never really starts until May, let's be honest. At least in the Midwest. We're all lying to ourselves otherwise. My dog's mad at something. Oh, Bruni. Angry Bruni. You love Groundhog Day? I just love how absurd the myth and the like pomp and circumstance for Groundhog Day is. I wish we had more holidays every year dedicated to fat animals predicting things. I would be hella down with that. Like, can we have Vole Day, where it's just a vole going around in different holes, and depending on which hole it goes in, it's going to be a good year or some crap. I'm into that. Not enough fat animal holidays. Oh, it's just a brown coal erase. It's honestly the only real colored pencil I use. But yeah, you gotta be careful with the coal erase ones because the black and the white ones suck. Don't get the black and the white coal erase. If you're gonna get black and white colored pencils, get the Premier versions, which right now I don't have. No, here we go. These ones. The ones that say Premier, get these ones. The black and the white coal erase are super waxy and terrible. I don't know why it's just those two and the rest are pretty okay. But yeah, honestly, I get the brown in like 12 packs online and the white and black Prismacolor Premiers online in just packs of like 12. I just buy them in bulk because I go through so many of them. Right, Cavendish? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Trees were down everywhere. It was crazy. We ended up in a hotel because the little guy refuses to be under blankets. Oh. I'm sorry, Kristen. That had to be a giant headache. Was that during you going through COVID, too? Oh, snow last night. A few flurries. Looks like it's gonna mostly miss us. Oh. Febrero Loco y Marzo un poco. Cute. I like it. February's crazy and March is a little crazy. It's weird because like March is known as being the snowiest month and it's like no one ever seems to remember that. I know I don't. But I do remember, like, once I come to terms with myself, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a lot of snow in March. It's really weird. And we didn't even get snow this year until, well, it was weird because we got the first snow on our wedding day, and then it didn't snow after that for, like, I don't know, we didn't even have snow on Christmas. It was, like, after Christmas it actually started snowing. So it was kind of cute. We got Christmas on our wedding day, but then after that, it was like nothing. And then now we got, like, there was one day we got like 2 feet of snow, and that stuck around. Oh, he looks scared. I don't want him to look scared. Yeah, that's better. Remember, this is tiny. This is like the size of my hand, so this should be sharper, but I am a little bit lazy when it comes to that. This is just a nice little piece. It's not meant to be serious, not meant to be like my masterpiece or my magnum opus or anything. Just a nice little fun piece. Typically my Twitch streams are my relaxing days of the week, so you'll see me doing things I don't normally get to work on. Whether it be, you know, personal work or stuff for my Twitch or animations I gotta do, things like that. Once in a while, if I really need to work on work stuff, I'll tell you. Like if I have to work on a pet portrait or whatnot. Oh, you had COVID in October. Okay. Damn, that went fast. Feels like it was just yesterday to me that you had it. It's so weird. Time lately has felt so different. And I can't tell if it's just me or if it's just kind of everybody. Does anybody else here feel like time has felt different? Just overall. Like either it's moving slower or faster or both. I don't know. I feel like it's just been weird. It's true. It never did, technically, but we like to pretend it did. Yes, time is all gunked up. Okay, so it's not just me. It feels so weird. It's like it's going fast and slow. I don't know. That's as good as I can explain it. Does anybody have any tricks for getting back, like, refunded airline miles or anything? Like, we have this trip that I had to cancel due to COVID, and the trip itself, like the credit for the trip is expiring soon, and it's a lot, and I don't know what to do about it, and I don't know if there's any tricks for it. I mean, it really looks like we're just gonna lose the points, but it's like $1,000 worth of points. And I want to know if there's some way I can get that back. I mean, I highly doubt it, but I thought I'd ask, just in case anybody out here is like more of a traveler than myself. But I hear it's usually dependent on the airline. Starts screaming to be let in. Oh no, Clark. Yeah, they say there's the COVID thing, but I don't know if they mean it. Buying and canceling. That's what Gabe was saying. Like, you can always transfer to another one, so it's like make up a trip, and then once that one kind of comes up, then you can transfer again. But then I feel bad, because then it's like you're taking seats on a flight maybe that somebody else could have had. I don't know. But yeah, that seems like my only thing, because we'll eventually go on this trip. We just don't know when, but it's like, that's a lot of points, man. I love cats and dogs that just, instead of meowing or barking, they just scream. Like huskies. I love it, but I would not be able to own a husky, but it's hilarious every time I hear it. Really, Cavendish? Okay. Yeah, I guess we could do that. It's just, I wish I had a time frame I could give them, but it's that sort of thing where the trip that I was supposed to go on with this group, apparently the person that's organizing it is saying that airlines and just travel things and stuff are doing this revenge travel thing. Have you guys heard of this? Where they're like, everything's like, the cost of everything is being bumped up like crazy, and they're calling it revenge travel. Has anybody like had to deal with this? It sounds terrible. Like, I guess I understand why they do it, but it's kind of cruel. But maybe it's to keep people at home too. I can't tell. I cannot tell. But here we are. I mean, right? I mean, I'm supposed to go to Dragon Con in Atlanta this year, and yeah, kind of not feeling like that right now. I don't know, I'm gonna end up losing a lot of money if I back out of that one too. But I'd love to be able to know that. Yeah, it's weird. Me too, Chelsea. I hope we can too, and I hope we can go without it being scary. That's what I really want. I'm so glad you're here, by the way. But yeah, I want to go without worrying so bad about stuff, but I'm guessing it's going to be years before, you know, the worry's gone. I feel like the worry's going to be there for a long time. A long, stupid time. Yeah, we are, aren't we, Cavendish? Add-on luggage, which was 100. Sorry, Kat. I had to reread your thing like 3 times because it feels like a word problem. So I'm gonna try really hard this time. Okay, hold on. The add-on luggage was just wondering each was included before. And to select seats cost $100, so you gotta select same ones before and they cost us. So you had to add on $75 to $135 each, then? Is that what you mean? This one sucks though because it was like the flight itself. It was supposed to be for that Brian Froud thing where you go and you hang out with Froud and his wife. It's legit. I know it sounds crazy, but it's actually a legit thing. And I did heavy, extensive looking into that because I was like, I don't want to get scammed. But you go and you hang out with them, whatever. So it's like a flight to Heathrow, and then like it's round trip and something else. But it's, oh my god, it's like $900 worth of chase points. It's like, I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose it. God damn you, COVID. And then I'm sitting here thinking, can we transfer the points to somebody who like travels a lot? Like, I'd be happy to do that, but I don't know if you can actually do that. I don't know enough about airlines and airplanes and junk. So I don't even know, man. I just know I'm tired of COVID and it's BS. Hi, Sophia. Oh, extra money for all the tests. Yeah, good point. Yeah, man. I don't understand still how cons are happening still. Like, I'm in a giant artist group chat for conventions, and it's like every time there's a convention, they say who, you know, they got tested and who got COVID. Like, I don't want to have to deal with that. Like, oh my gosh. It's so stressful. And each time somebody new gets it, and it's like, why are we doing this again? Like, why are we having 50,000 people conventions still? What is going on? Why was this okay? I mean, I know I'm not making as much money anymore, but I would rather things not be, you know, spreading. I don't know. I did the little froggies. Yeah, Sophia, I think you had mentioned that last time, right? So this was your idea. But yeah, I did the little froggies. Little Froggos. Melamoni, hi. How you doing? Twinkle Toe Hobbit, hi. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this is basically done. We started it and ended it on the stream. You haven't been in here for a while? I'm doing okay. Not so bad. Money's tight, and it's due to COVID. But, you know, whatever. I think money's tight for everybody right now. So, nothing new in that department, I guess. Oh, thank you, Melamoni. Large group gatherings seem like a horrible, horrible idea, as does going into public without a mask. Yeah, I'm with you. It's okay, Twinkle Toe. I know it sounds a little bit messed up, but I take a little bit of comfort in that I'm not the only one that's, you know, in tough times. Like, a lot of people are still. So, it's okay. We're all going through it together. We'll make it out. It'll just take some time, take some patience, all that junk. Oh, Mel Lemony. Okay. My apologies. Oh yeah, Mogwai with the banner. Yeah, I remember Mogwai. He's a cutie. Thank you, Mel. Can I just call you Mel then? Or do you want the whole Mel Lemony? Oh, you still like the portrait? I'm so glad. I'm still working my way through my backlog. I got a lot of portraits to get through still. But it's things like that that make me happy that I'm doing them still, that it makes people happy. So thank you for letting me know again. It's a really nice reminder. Yeah, it did. I had to. So the whole reason I'm behind on my portraits right now is because I had to get extra work after the conventions went away. It was our main source of income, both mine and my husband's. So we had to get other jobs and, things here and there. And that time taken from, the portraits and stuff was put towards that. So I ended up falling a great deal behind. So I'm still finishing ones from 2020 and even a couple still from 2019. And, I don't want to rush them, so taking my time. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Sophia. So, yeah, we watercolored this on the stream. Right now, I know it looks kind of crazy because the crop lines are there, but if you see the crop lines, they're on the inside here. So once I cut it up to that, it'll look nice and clean. But there's a good reason why, you go outside the crop lines. It ends up, looking a lot more full and everything. Am I planning on going to conventions soon? No. I mean, not if I can help it. I'm still scared of the whole thing because a lot of my friends going to conventions keep coming back with COVID, and it's not a good idea. But my problem is that so I pushed my Dragon Con seat that I bought in 2020. I pushed that to 2021, and then I pushed that again to 2022, and this is the last push that I could have done. And so if I don't go this year, then I don't get a refund and on the table, and tables are expensive. So it's one of those things where I'm met with a harsh decision to go later in the year or not. So, I mean, depending on what's happening around, in the summer, fall, in that area, we'll see. That's the only one I've got lined up, though. I'm not ready to go back fully into the fray, that's for sure. But I also don't want to lose money on the Dragon Con one, but it's rough. It's hard decisions all around. Also, I keep noodling this, but it's absolutely done. Like, it's done. I'm just hanging out now. Officially engaged recently? That's good. Oh, and yeah, thank you on the marriage congrats, Twinkle Toe. I appreciate that. Yeah, the fact you can get COVID again is just awful. I actually fully believe I got it in March 2020, right before lockdown happened. And it was like the worst sick I've ever been in my life. But that was before any vaccinations or anything were even available. It felt like mono plus the flu. And, I've been vaccinated since and all that. So hopefully I don't get it. But man, the idea that you can get it more than once is really messed up. Knife block. Cute. Oh no. January 2020. Wow. Oh, 2021. Okay. Yeah, mine was, so in March 2020, right before lockdown happened, it was like the week before. it was C2E2, which a lot of us referred to as the last convention on Earth way back then, because it was the last convention, you know, for the US before lockdown happened. And that Monday, right after I came back from that one, I just got floored. Like, I was messed up. So I'm pretty sure I got it, because it didn't feel like any con plague I had had before. So, yeah, right? You can't remember years anymore? I'm in the same boat. We were just talking about how time right now feels both fast and slow simultaneously. It's just messed up. So messed up. You know, maybe I want to put some more green on these. Oh, that's way too green. No. Oh my god. Look at that. That's way too green. I'm not going to use that. Hell no. Hell no. Let's do a dark green. In the process of researching knives and knife blocks for their kitchen when he started talking and getting ready to bust out the ring. Oh, cute. Knife block. I like that. I know it looks really saturated, but it's really not. I should probably pull that back on the filter. Hold on. That's more about what it is. Well, thank you, Twinkle Toe. I appreciate that. I've been doing this little series of a bunch of things playing in water. It's been a nice little, like, I don't know. Makes me happy. This one's frogs. Last week I think was birds. I've done pill bugs too. On my birthday stream, which now I can't remember how long ago that was, but we did another thing. Oh, thank you for the sub, Twinkle Toe. I appreciate that. I promise, new emojis coming soon. Hopefully in the next month or so. I know I've been saying that for a long time, but hopefully. Hopefully. Thank you, thank you. Already been playing out their wedding for like a year, and officially he's running out of time. She'd take matters into her own hands and propose to him. Oh, I like that story, Cavendish. Oh, thank you. That is very sweet of you. I really appreciate that. I don't want to bother you. You probably hear all the time, but I've been struggling with keeping my drawing symmetrical. One of the arms and legs is always bigger than the other. Do you have any hint for help with that? By the way, your drawing is amazing. Oh, Leonardo, thank you. Keeping your drawing symmetrical. Well, it depends on kind of why you're striving for symmetry. Are you talking about a specific instance like eyes or anything like that? Or is it more just in general you like symmetrical things? And are they organic things that you're trying to make symmetrical, or is it more like geometry? Because that kind of, it plays into it depending on what you're shooting for. Because there's actually a little hack you can do. You know, I wouldn't suggest doing it all the time, but there is a little cheat that I use to get things symmetrical quickly. I can show you that in a second. I made a little video for it, might help. Yeah, right now I only can do streams on Saturday, and it's usually just personal work. Because during the work week I am just bogged down doing work for other people. So this is really the only time I get to kind of chill. But yeah, right now it's just Saturdays at 2 p.m. CST. And for anybody who's wanting to keep things symmetrical or like to copy, paste, flip sort of thing, this is Little symmetry hack. Little symmetry hack. Oh, sorry, that was supposed to be above yours. I mean, keep my human symmetrical. One of the arms is always bigger. Well, let's see. Are you drawing them straight on too? Like, because I guess, so not so much symmetrical you mean just like the ratio. Am I right? Let me see if I can get some paper somewhere. Like I don't have any paper. What is that about? I do have, hold on. Guess I could do it digitally. Give me a second. I mean, I suppose I should ask if you're doing it traditionally or digitally too. Because if you're doing it digitally, there's a lot more things that are in place to help you. Oh, thank you, Miyazaki. I appreciate that. Let me see. So one of the best things you can do if you are doing any sort of like thing where you got to keep things similar, like the same size and whatnot, is to figure out your own what do you call it? It's like a sizing system, ratio thing. It's hard to explain. You're doing it traditionally? Okay. So I'll try to do this. Well, you know what? Hold on. Let me go get some paper. I'll be right back. Oh, Serenity. Hey, homie. How you doing? The alert box going crazy as it does. All right. Not have paper anywhere. You still good? Okay. Okay. Alright, so you're doing it traditionally. And you're talking about just any pose that you're doing is just not, I guess, the same? Like your arms and your legs are just different sizes on both sides? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Okay, so... Oh, thank you, Ari. There's also a little hack I can show you regarding hands and arms. I don't like calling them hacks, but... Sorry, that was probably really loud. Okay, so you're saying that you're just having trouble with anatomy like that. So what you can do, even if you don't really follow the whole 8 heads high thing, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, there's this thing where when you're drawing anatomy, there's usually like a human's like 8 heads high, something like that. And then like from here to, I think it was here, it's like their torso, and from here, or here to here, it's like hips and then legs. I don't even go by this anymore. That's why I'm struggling to like remember it. And then your arms, they go, I think mid-thigh, somewhere in there. Like there are rules for this sort of thing. So, I mean, knowing, you know, where they are and end up and all that stuff. For alerts, woo! Yeah, I remembered this time. So, if you're just drawing somebody, let's say, and you're trying to keep their, like, arms and such at the right sort of ratio, you can look around at the other parts you've established, and this depends on if you're using reference or not. If you're using reference, then look at your reference and see, okay, their head is this big, so then their arm is like a head and a half high, right? So you're using your own drawing or the reference to know how big to make it, so that when you're doing the other side, and if it's in a different like pose, let's say, like the arms up instead of down, you know, then you know how long to make the arm as opposed to the other arm, right? That sort of thing. So you're using parts that you've already established in the drawing. Just make sure you always use the same part as your reference point. So meaning, like, if you're using the head to figure out how long the arm is, make sure you're, you know, if you get down to the leg, you don't use the arm or the torso to figure out how long the leg is. You use the head still. So if the arm is a head and a half long, then the leg, let's say, is 2 heads long. So then you make sure, okay, 2 heads. You know, that's why you always see artists doing this with their pencil and looking at something. They're measuring with their eyes how many something is. So when you're doing that, then you know how long to make things, you know, and then from there on out, you can just kind of figure it out. That sort of thing. And then for those of you who have trouble drawing like hands and arms and connecting them to the body, something I learned technically last year, I think. it was relatively recent. If you've got, you know, a figure, right? And like that's, they're standing, whatever. And you need the hands to be doing something. Maybe they've got a bag on, okay? They've got a one shoulder bag and one of the hands is on the bag and the other is like, I don't know, holding a coffee, right? So you draw where the hands are going to be, where you want them to be, and then the arms kind of follow. So I would always start at the shoulder, go to the elbow, go to the wrist, and then do the hand. No. Try instead, before you do all this junk, just draw where the hands are, right? So if there's a cup of coffee here, they're, you know, oh yeah, I've got this cup of coffee, great, yum. Oh man, I love coffee. And he's got the coffee, and you're like, all right, well, he's got to be holding it, that would be over here, there'd be a little bit of foreshortening, not too much, and it'd be like that, right? And then if he's holding the bag, you draw, like, look at a reference of a hand holding a strap on a bag at the angle you need it, right? So it's like that, okay, there's the bag reference, right? So then the arm would be here, and then it would go up and it would connect like that. Oh, okay, there's the arm. So it's almost just like you draw the hands and the arms follow. It's so much better like than trying to do the old way of drawing the shoulder to the arm and then the arm to the wrist and the wrist to the hand. Like it, the only problem you get to if you do this is, like, let's say I drew the hand way over here. Like, that is way too long for this unless he was leaning, right? So you have to kind of know, I guess, the arm's length from the body to do this appropriately. But if they're pretty contained, then you don't really have to worry about that, you know? But if they're reaching, what you want to do first is, like, let's say it's an action pose and, you know, the arm's out here and they're reaching for something and you need to draw them reaching for it, then you're going to have to do some sort of like stretching here to know, well, okay, so the arm's here, shoulders about here, so yeah, then the hand can go here, going like that, whatever, right? So then you can figure that out. So it takes a little bit more planning, let's say, but you know, you need to kind of figure that out that way. But you use your own drawings to measure things, and then floating hands to fit in the arms saved my life, like after I figured that out. Granted, I kind of had, I guess, pre-knowledge of some anatomy first, so I don't know if that helped me or not, but, you know, doing this way really, I don't know, just try it, see if it helps you. Now, for your symmetry question, Leo, did that help? Or am I kind of not hitting what you were asking? And then for those wondering about symmetry, like the hack that I showed a thing for, let's just do something stupid like a butterfly wing. Let's say you're doing a tattoo for somebody and they want just a full-on butterfly. And you're like, damn, that side looks really cool. How do I do the other side to look so cool? Right? Get some tracing paper. Put it on here. Trace it. Right? Trace it like that. And then you're going to black it out. Oh good, I hope it helps. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. So black it out enough to where you can still see your line, right? Flip it over. Line it up how you like it, right? Then trace it. There you go. That's an easy way to do it too. And then you just redraw over it and vary it if you want to, but that's basically all you need from it, you know? Little cute little thing. Little doodle bug. I'm a doodle bug. So hopefully that helps. You know what? I have this piece that I kind of have to finish. I wonder if I should do that now. This is an older piece I owe somebody. Oh, thank you for the follow, Leo. But the rest of this is very pastel heavy. So I wonder if I should even work on this right now, actually. Maybe next time, actually. I haven't worked on this in months. Alright. So this is what we did on stream. This one is for sale. If nobody claims that, I do have somebody who wanted it. For anybody who likes my little paintings or wants one of my big paintings, I do have those available. These are the big originals, and these are the tiny ones like what you're looking at right now. Smaller ones. Oh yeah, the bird one's in there, so you can see the bird one. And then the fish one sold basically before I could even put it up. At least I think it did. Unless I'm thinking of something else. No, I'm gonna have to revisit that. Can't remember if the fish one was. So anyway, they're available arts. So yeah, I stream Saturdays at 2 p.m. Central, which is about 2.5 hours ago on Saturdays. Here are my socials for anybody who's come in recently. And then if you really want to support me and get some cool stuff in the process, please pledge on my Patreon. I still have one more tutorial I'm going to do this month too for just patrons. It's going to be my process on how I took a friend's vinyl toy they did, and I added epoxy and changed it to be custom so she could sell it at the convention. So patrons will get that and the whole walkthrough and everything I used and all that stuff. And then you also get colorable calendar pages, device wallpapers, which I might do this one or one of the other ones I did this month for a device wallpaper for February. And then I have the Clover card tier and the Curious Collector tier for anybody who likes physical rewards that come in the mail every month. Those are really fun. They come with stickers. Well, one does. Curious Collector comes with stickers, but they both come with stories. So, yeah, does anybody have anything else they want to say before we go? I'm drinking coffee. Coffee. Oh, I wish you an amazing week too, Ari. Thank you so much. Chelsea, I'm so glad you like the stories. If nothing else, they're a nice little, like, fantasy injection every month, right? A nice little illustration with some cute accompaniment. Bye, Twinkle Toe. Thank you for coming. Yeah, iced coffee. Caramel. Yeah. All right, well, I'll see everyone later, okay? Thank you so much again for coming. You have a good week and take care of everybody. And tell your loved ones you love them. All right? Bye.